I can get this off my screen. There we go. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, everybody, to the discussion for Ninth House by Leah Bardugo. I actually have a copy this time to show. I made sure not to put it up. Hello, Lucinda. Hey, cool gamer. Welcome. If you guys hear noises in the background, I think Jordan is more mowing the grass, so we have that ambiance going.
I think there's people mowing over here too.
'Tis the season for all the mowing.
Yes, it is.
All right.
I have a spot on my glasses.
While Alicia cleans her eyeballs, I'll go over the pretty much the summary of Ninth House is dark academia, occult, magic. We follow Alex as she is plucked from her life in Los Angeles and dropped into Yale to become a member of Lathe, which is a secret society among the secret societies of Yale, and they pretty much act like guardians and the police within the community. So, in a nutshell, it just follows her as she is trying to keep the different societies in line while solving a murder. Yeah, happy springtime. I honestly don't think when I first read the book, I don't think I've read the synopsis either. It's just what I've heard other people talk about. So, but
I don't think I read the synopsis at all either.
Yeah, it was a reread for me. I originally gave it my first reading like 4 stars, and it's just going to keep the rating. It's not like mind blowing for me, but it's still one of the ones I can keep rereading it and seeing myself getting sucked back into it. And I honestly didn't really remember too much from my first time reading it. So when I was rereading it reminded me, because I think when I read it was back in 2020. So I had a good gap in between reads. But I read it physically. How did you read it, Alicia? Did you read it physically as well?
Yes, I have my copy. Well, I've seen different covers though, because like mine's kind of like a black and silver, like yours. But I've seen where the snake is like black and red.
Yeah, and I got the paperback copy too. So
mine is nice. Hardcover, so it has the end pages.
Yeah, mine doesn't. It's just got the praise and stuff on it, but it's a nice floppy paperback. So
oh yes,
I like it. Lucinda agrees. She gave it 4 stars. What did you give it, Alicia?
3.5.
Nice.
Sometimes it was a little boring for me.
Yeah, I can see that. Overall, what was your favorite part of the book, or what stuck out to you the most?
I think when they started putting the pieces together, because I was like, oh yes, now finally something's happening.
I think it was more for me when I started really getting sucked into it, was learning more about her past and like what happened at Ground Zero. It's like uncovering that part was more interesting, and seeing how her abilities to see the grays like affects her.
Well,
I do have to say though, my least favorite scene was the assault scene that she had to deal with as a child from the gray.
Yeah. That was a little hard to read, even for it being like human versus gray.
Yeah. And her not being able to really say what happened to her because no one would believe her anyways. Did you end up racing to the end of the book, or was it more of a slow burn?
It was more well when I was reading it I kept having to like put it down because like I said, I'd get bored at times. So then I would put it down and then oh no, I gotta finish this. I gotta pick it back up. So the whole way it was just kind of like not necessarily pulling teeth, but sort of that way.
Yeah. Lucinda enjoyed the traveling to the land of for the Death River. That was pretty cool.
That
The
was.
descriptions of that, I could picture that pretty clearly. And then, yeah, the assault was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I first read it, I was definitely like, I got sucked into the part. I remember reading it on 4th of July weekend, actually, instead of going out and watching fireworks. It was raining that year, so I ended up staying inside and reading. So I was like, I ended up racing to the end with my first read, but with the second time around, it was definitely more that I was paying attention to the details of it now, like this time around, because I remember some like major points of it, but not all of it. So it was definitely giving me another lens to look through. Took me over just over a week, but I was reading other stuff too and had work. I just was just really tired, and so it was harder to pick up a physical book then. Understandable. I get like that too. Sometimes I just don't really want to do much of anything but sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's been what I've been battling lately. Let's see. Which scene has stuck with you the most?
Putting the pieces together.
Yeah, I think I definitely the end fight scene between like her, Sandow, and the Bell Bomb
Mm-hmm.
definitely stuck out for me, especially like the reveal of who Bell Bomb was.
Yeah.
That was definitely one scene that I completely forgot about. Like just that character in general, I completely forgot about her.
I didn't anticipate her being there. Like I figured maybe the woman was possessed by someone, but I didn't think it was her.
Hmm. Did like the conclusion, but I thought the it's not a portal reveal was really cool. Yeah. What did you think of the writing?
Mm. It's meh for me.
I can see it being like really dry for some people in some parts of it, especially like when it comes to like the politics part. Would you keep your comments to yourself? But yeah, it. I think I haven't read anything else by her, so I can't really compare the two. But I know she's written a lot of YA stuff, and I think this was her way of kind of making it stand out more than her YA stuff. So it
Same.
definitely read a lot of like more adult like than a YA author.
Yeah, I would have to read some more of her stuff to see because I also have not read anything else by her, so um it'll be interesting to see what her other stuff is like.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really think she was possessed by Daisy either. Like the way that it was revealed at the end, I'm like, okay, I can see it that now, but it kind of was more a tie-in that seemed more out of the blue than anything to me, or just it was convenient that she happened to be there.
Or I thought because they couldn't find that one girl that that girl would have possessed the professor, not the one that they
Yeah,
had the murder mystery for.
Yeah. Thought the writing was pretty good with its descriptions. I know nothing about American university setups, but it did get across pretty well. I agree. I don't have any experience with the U.S. university setups either, but just based off of all the other descriptions and TV shows that I've seen of people going to college, it seems pretty accurate.
In terms of like what in like the setup for what? Like
Just like how you would picture Yale being set up, like class wise with the teachers and stuff like that.
oh, yeah, most universities are pretty much the same. You have some sort of like lecture hall that you would go to. The professors usually have some sort of like office that you can go and like ask questions and stuff, but you basically have to go around to like a different cluster of buildings. Hi.
He comes in, he's like, I'm a highlighter.
Yes, I can see you. It's a very bright shirt.
Let me mark you.
Ow.
You're marked.
Get off. Be gone. Oy. Can't have a serious discussion in this house. Jesus.
It's the same at mine.
Let's see. Did you reread any passages? If so, which ones? I think really is just the at the beginning I had to reread what was going on when she was observing the ritual where they had the guy that they were rummaging through his guts and stuff. I had to kind of reread that because I'm like, am I reading this correctly? Is this what they're actually doing? Like,
Why
what
would
are
they
they
be
doing?
rummaging through his guts looking for? Ugh.
And honestly, I hadn't even heard of that kind of divination until this book.
Mhm.
So it made it me like write down and make a note of looking more into that, like the history behind that and how
Yeah.
that works. Because like the only other time that I've heard of something similar is I think it's in Stardust, at least the movie. The witches in there, they kill an animal and kind of I think it's in that movie. At least one of the like the evil witch characters had killed an animal and was using the animal's guts to divine something. But can't remember if it's Stardust or not that I'm remembering, but yeah, and then missing something that triggered the grays as well. Yeah, I didn't quite understand that other than the part with they were reacting to the nexus being opened or something like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
I hadn't heard about it too much except for like maybe in passing that just didn't click with me until this book.
Trying to think because I don't think they really do anything like that. Like even like TV shows, like I'm thinking of Charmed, and I don't think they.
Yeah.
It was more potions and ingredients rather than guts of things.
Yeah, them being alive was a new thing when they just acted like it was just a surgery that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And like the description of like them having like preparing him for being divine, they had like a special diet that he had to have before, like the week or two before they did the ritual.
No,
And I can tell you that the rituals just get weirder in book 2. So, because
don't
I
know.
am.
Is it faster paced in book 2?
A little bit, yeah. Because I am maybe I have a quarter of the book left. My book is in my backpack in the living room, but I think I have about a quarter of it left.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff that they go through, at least at the beginning, is like, ew. So
I might read it just to see if it does pick up or whatnot, but
yeah, that goes into like question 7 on this list is would you want to read another book by this author? Since I am doing a reading vlog, reading Ninth House and Hellbent. So I
Mm-hmm.
am reading the second one. I wouldn't mind reading her other series just to kind of see what the hype is about. But I honestly am not as inclined as I am of continuing this series.
Yeah, I would like to see more of her writing style to see if it's something that I like. But if I don't finish this series, it's not something that I'm necessarily going to be sad about.
Yeah. I like how it incorporates the occult, like dark academia, with like murder mystery stuff. I think that's what I really enjoyed with this reread is the murder mystery part made me more interested in continuing with it because I wanted to find out who did it. So,
Right.
but yeah, we've only seen a few of the tombs rituals so far. Lucinda will likely read Hellbent next month. It's pretty good, and it came in a funny time too when I had started the book because Allie from Hardback Quarter, she's been raving about the books ever since she's read it, and on her last live, somehow they got onto the topic of the different like names author uses for different body parts in spicy scenes,
Hmm.
and the day after I read a scene that describes the male body part as a glow stick.
A glow stick?
Yeah.
All right then.
I just had to laugh at that part because of the previous conversation the day before. It was just like how convenient that this had happened.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if she's working on a third one. Just where I'm at in the second one, I hope there's a third one because there's not much being resolved at the point that I'm at, but I still have a good ways to go. And I don't think book two is any longer than Ninth House. It's Ninth House, let's see. Not including like the list of the houses. It's like 450 pages, at least my copy, and I think Hellbent is like 470 something. So it's not much.
according to this, it looks like it will be a three main novels and a short story,
Okay,
with possible more expected in the future.
interesting. Yeah, because there has to be more just where I'm currently at. And I would love more information on like the history of life as well. And so, like hopefully like the short story like novella or whatever is more of like the like taking the excerpts they have from like the different diaries and stuff, like combining them into one and adding more into that. I would like to see more of that.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. Especially if it gives a lot more insight to maybe like how the characters get their abilities or if
Yeah,
they're born with their abilities.
right.
Because it seems like this character, Alex, if I remember her name, she had it when she was young. So
Yeah, and it brings up the term of like wheel walker of what she is able to do since she can see everything without taking the elixir.
right,
Um, I had kind of it was blindsided about the main culprit being Sandow in the end,
yeah,
because it didn't like. I thought something was kind of off with him when she had the like golem or whatever, however you say it, like sent after her to kill her. I thought he was acting a little weird then, but I thought it was more of him being like worried about money kind of thing than
yeah.
anything.
Because of his wasn't he going through like a divorce or something?
Yeah. And with anybody in like Yale and stuff, they're all about money, getting money in any way that they can. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
but I was honestly glad to see that Blake character get killed. I was not sorry to see him go. I just hate that he was being used
Mm-hmm.
during that, but I'm glad to see he got brushed to the side. Yeah, I didn't think he would try to kill the people around him, especially Dawes. Dawes is probably
Yeah.
like favorite character next to Alex because of just how she kind of reminds me of me when I was in high school, like always keeping to myself and doing my own like studies. So I'm like, protect Dawes at all costs.
She kind of reminds me of like the Giles when in Buffy, like always in a book and always researching the next thing and that kind of person.
She's the Hermione in this series.
There's always one bookworm.
Mm-hmm. And I love the subject of her like dissertation of like with the tarot and stuff. I want, if anything, if I had to request a short story, I want to read her dissertation.
That would be interesting to see.
Did reading the book impact your mood? Um, Not so much like impact my mood. Like I did get kind of grossed out with the rummaging through the insides and stuff like that, but overall, I didn't really have much of a major mood change with the book.
I don't think that really phased me either. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, we're
It
doing this.
didn't gross me out as much as the witch's daughters scenes were.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it didn't gross me out as much as those did, but maybe that just prepared me for that scene.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going for.
What surprised you most about the book?
Not really much because I didn't know what to expect to begin with. So just kind of took it as it came.
Yeah. I think since I like heard that it was described as a dark academia most of the time with like some occult stuff in it, I wasn't
Mhm.
expecting like the murder mystery part of it. So I would say that part surprised me about the book because it, to me, it just read more like a murder mystery than anything.
Yeah.
My in question 10 said, "How did your opinion of the book change as you read it?" My opinion kind of just stayed the same. Even from like my first read, I really enjoyed it. I didn't really have much thought into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one to write home about, but it wasn't horrible either. It's just kind of in between. But with this being the first book, you're doing a lot of like world building and character introduction, and like they're at a school setting, so you have to kind of introduce and explore all of that at the same time. So
Yeah.
for me, it's not like a oh my god, but it's not kind of like a it's just kind of like a okay,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens in the next book.
Lucinda said she knew nothing but wasn't expecting Ghost. She doesn't think. Yeah, I didn't really think anything that like Ghost would be involved into it. And there's more creatures to come, which is I didn't. I was surprised to see that be mentioned later on in the series, but
Book two.
yeah,
Ooh.
but yeah, it's pretty interesting how she worked in the Greys into it. It's like they're not kind of like your standard ghosts; they actually have a purpose there for Alex, even though she's trying not to so much use them. She only uses them when she has to.
And it's interesting that they're instead of them being called ghosts, they're called grays.
Yeah, which makes me think if we see more in the underworld if they're more like in color down there. Like on the other side of the veil, maybe they're like their natural color, while on our side of the veil, that's the reason why they're gray.
That would be interesting to see. I know that they went to like the river, but I don't think she. I don't recall them saying anything about being in color.
Yeah, I don't really remember much either.
But when she does do the river thing, it kind of reminds me of like an Egyptian type theme.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to like resemble like one of the rivers in Egypt. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what it was mentioned. I don't even know what page I'm looking at. I'm just kind of flipping through to see if I can find it.
I know because it always says like winter or that was
Yeah,
one thing that I kind of got confused on because like some it would say last summer or it would say winter and I'm going okay. It didn't
yeah,
really dawn on me until I think it was Kim on one of her sprints. She said think of it as like the terms for school. So last summer and then winter would be the time of school year. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh.
More Greek mythology. I
It,
think in the description when they go to the tomb, I think the description of the tomb that they went to, they have the tomb set up more of like an Egyptian theme because of the like the god of the dead for the Egyptians. But
yeah.
yeah, it was confusing in some points where the timeline kept jumping around. I can see how it can like. I think it's probably like it didn't bother me that much, probably because I've been reading books that do kind of like jump timelines a little bit lately, so I've kind of gotten used to it.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to figure out too. Like, where was that?
But the river is like Greek stuff, yeah, yeah. It was kind of they took like bits and pieces of different cultures, yeah,
Which would make sense because if you think about the different houses and the different abilities and stuff, it could feed into those themes.
yeah. I like how I when I stopped on page 206 and see like Dawes is yelling at Alex and is like, "What is wrong with you?" Alex replies, "I'm a bad dancer and I don't floss. What's wrong with you?"
The
I'm gonna
snarkiness is real.
I'm gonna highlight that.
It actually says on 207 they're like Lethe to the Greeks, but
Yeah,
before that it says that Alex contemplated the altar, so the afterlife is Egypt. Of all the religions, the ancient Egyptians got it right.
yeah. We don't really know what the afterlife is. This is one way into one borderland. There are others are always marked by rivers, and then it goes to actually to the Greek Styx is the border river. Lys is the final boundary the dead must cross. The Egyptians believed the sun died on western banks of the Nile every day, so to journey from its eastern bank to the west is leaving the world of the living behind.
Yep. So I think it just depends on the house because um it could be the river is Egyptian, but then different I guess temples could be Greek or whichever. And they did have a lot of Egyptian hieroglyphs, yeah.
Yeah, I just find that like I've just been on like a mythology kick lately still, so I'm like anything like that I'm like, ooh, gimme.
Yeah. I like when they have their mythologies in there.
Yeah. How does the book's title work in relation to the book's contents? Well, ninth house is Lathe. Lathe is ninth house. So it's the ninth house.
I mean, there's 9 houses, so and we're talking about Lethe as the 9th house, so it
Is
all
the, yeah, it all connects. Is the book overrated or underrated? Um, I haven't
neither.
really heard that much about it. It's only been recently that I heard people talk about it with the second book coming out, but I haven't really heard very many people like tell like their thoughts about it other than maybe like a couple.
Yeah,
It's been mixed reviews from what I've been hearing.
pretty much. Like, I think I've only heard of like a handful of YouTubers saying that they were reading it, but other than that, it's not like it's gone huge like some of the other books that are out there.
Yeah. So I just say it's more like in the middle.
Yeah.
How did it impact you? Do you think you'll remember it in a few months or years?
Nope, I already forgot what it was about. It was meh.
I give me another year or two and I'll probably forget details again. But I'm hoping that with the second read kind of cemented more information in my brain. So, but
No.
it depends on how long I go in between rereads with books. I tend to forget some details in books pretty easily. So, would you ever consider rereading it? Yeah. Even if you were to read the second book?
I think I remember enough to go into the second book if I do it this year. If I don't, then no, I wouldn't continue. It's kind of like the same with Carve the Mark from Veronica Roth. I read the first one and I've already forgotten what that's about, and I have a book too, but I don't have the desire to pick it up.
Fair. Who do you most want to read this book? Or who do you think would be the person, like the audience for this book? Think if like really like people who love dark academia stuff, I would say
Mhm.
that, or like into the occult stuff. I don't know how people who are mostly thriller fans would like enjoy it because of the heavy leanings in the dark academia and occult side. It's like a very like niche type of genre.
It is. I can't really think of anybody that would like specifically anyone I know that like, oh yeah, I should recommend this to someone. But
Yeah.
like you said, if it's dark academia or if they like mystery and thriller with academia, then go for it.
Let me see what Goodreads recommends as like other readers like this type
If
of
you've
book.
read this,
Yeah, you might like this.
then read this one.
Yeah. So many people I talk to that like thrillers don't like anything paranormal. Yeah, that's what I tend to like kind of get that vibe from people who are mostly thriller readers. Readers also enjoyed the Atlas 6, Babel, the Atlas Paradox, so like Dark Academia,
Mm-hmm.
If We Were Villains, Vicious by B.E. Schwab, Stolen Air, Book of Night, Darker Shades of Magic, their writing retreat.
I wonder if like what is that one? The Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. That might be a similar book.
Yeah, the third book comes up for like on this list. Somehow Legends and Lattes is on this list. And I don't see how Legends and Lattes got on this list.
I mean, I have to read it still, but I'm gonna pay attention to that now and see why they would put that on a.
Yeah, because based on what I hear of Legends and Lattes, it's a cozy fantasy.
Yeah,
There's not really anything cozy about this book.
absolutely not. There's
Yeah.
no coziness about this. Unless you being possessed by a gray is cozy for you, then by all means.
That's interesting. Thrillers with odd fantasy or magical realism into it. Maybe it's just like a trend that's starting to kind of come up now. And they have Gallant, Bunny by Mona Awad. I definitely can see how Bunny is linked to Ninth House from what I've heard of how weird Bunny can be.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get my copy from the library. And hopefully I'll get to it soon once I finish the So Mote It Be book. I'm hoping to pick up Legends and Lattes.
Yeah, that's one that I still have to read.
I like how the Crescent City is listed. There's nothing dark academia about Crescent City. The only thing I could think of is like the first book having the murder mystery part of it. But the second one doesn't have that, no. And it has the second book listed.
I haven't read the second book, so I couldn't tell you.
And this, from what I remember reading the second book last year, it doesn't have really anything to do with that. What Lies in the Woods is a thriller that was recommended. Interesting. Are there any lingering questions from the book that you still have that you don't feel like you really got a resolution from?
Not really. I mean, obviously, there's the whole they have to go and try to save that one guy, but that's about it.
Yeah. My main question is, other than for like money, why Sandow did what he did, especially if he like claimed to care about Darlington, why he sent the Hell Beast to begin with.
That would be an interesting one to figure out.
Because all he really said that is just like Darlington was kind of sniffing too close to like finding out what was going on. But I don't really feel like that is the best answer for summoning a demon from hell to eat said person.
It could be if there was a bigger agenda and if he was getting too close to figuring out about the girls being eaten for possession. But
Yep, Rosie. Have you read Ninth House, Rosie? I also don't feel like it's the best answer to summon a demon. True.
Yeah. You Satan. I mean, yeah. It's impossible or possible.
Come say hi to Rosie.
What up, baby?
She can't see your face. She can't confirm if you're still haggard or not.
God damn it.
The poor cat. Don't.
Oh, you're okay.
She said, of course I've read it. No, I haven't. Where are you at?
I'm right here, girl.
As Bravo skitters away. It's like, I'm
He's
not going
like,
to pick
"Wow."
you again. He lost his highlighter. Yeah, you lost your highlighter.
Damn.
Woohoo! Hiya, Hagrid.
Oh my goodness.
He's got to go get his highlighter shirt. Jesus.
See what you started. What in the world?
You got to do the. Harry, where is the Harry? Where did he go? Yeah,
underneath you.
Oh. You always have to have a Harry cameo.
Get my buddy.
He's gonna put the cat in his witch kennel. Poor soul. It's a Harry.
At least he's not a poor, unfortunate soul.
Yeah.
Oh my lord, my eyes, it's fluorescent.
Yeah, he came into my office the other day wearing this shirt, and I'm like, new shirt? It's not as
Fucking bright.
Where was he? I'm bleeding from my eyes.
What's up the face?
Don't do that. Don't hit me in the back of the head either.
Oh, ow. That would be mean.
Don't break stuff either.
Well, if you didn't put the stuff there, what the heck?
Most of that stuff is your stuff. That's not mine. That box is not nice.
All this shit came from your car. You got a dented pop. Really?
I forgot that was in there. Whoops.
There's plants and all kinds of shit.
Whoops.
There's another.
I might want to water that.
My boyfriend wore sweatpants that color for the first time I met him. Needless to say, he's never seen it again since that day.
Wow.
Well, I have a shirt that's that same color, and I have a bright orange one from my company too. So, safety shirts. That's a better material though. That one breathes more than just a standard cotton.
Stretchy.
Anyways, but I think that's all I really had to say about the book.
I can't think of anything else. I didn't really like.
Yes, Rosie, you are so sensitive. Oh, the tattoo moths? Yeah, I loved those. Yes, he was playing with his balls. Anything to get the viewer count up. The cover inspo, yeah.
The tattoo ones were pretty cool.
Yeah. Let me get the second book real quick.
There's a kitty cat. Hi, kitty cat.
Okay. So, the second book has the rabbit on the cover. And then in the end papers, it's got the snake and the rabbit. So I'm wondering what the third book cover animal is going to be, and how the end papers for that's going to be.
The snake, the rabbit flipping the snake out.
Jeez. I can't remember. Is snakes mentioned in this book?
I don't know.
don't think so.
I don't remember if it was or not, but there's rabbits mentioned in this though, so that's I can't remember if there are snakes mentioned in the first one. Yeah, it's not a very pretty cover. Oh, her tattoos. Okay.
Was it? Oh yeah, I think she did because I think she had one. It kind of like wrapped around her collarbone or something.
I think it's in like first few chapters. I don't know. Oh yeah, snakes all down her arms and legs, covering the needle scars. Yeah. Yeah, I like that how the covers are kind of worked into the story.
Also, there is a house called Book and Snake.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of the. They were known for necromancy and bone conjuring.
Yeah, but I don't think like actual snakes had been mentioned. So the only thing I can think of is her tattoos. Yeah, we're pretty excited too, and we're planning a 24-hour live or like mini readathon within the readathon the first week, so I'm excited. And I'm excited I don't have to pick a team.
Say that again.
For Witchathon, I'm happy that I don't have to pick a team.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to do that round because I'll be traveling for 1 week of it.
Yeah.
And I can only take like a backpack full of stuff because we're not going to be gone long.
Do you not have a Kindle?
I do, but I don't use it. I'm not a Kindle or Nook kind of person.
Well, it sounds like you need to start using it.
I thought about either because I'm picking my TBR for May now, so I think if I can get 2 smaller books in my backpack, I'll just take those. If not, then I'll be taking Charm because it'll be one big solid book.
Yeah.
Not that I'll probably get enough reading, but you know.
Maybe I should had a challenge for. Oh, that's a challenge for you during the round, Alicia, is to read more ebooks.
I can do ebooks. It's just it won't be on a Kindle or a Nook.
As long
That
as
and I think mine are so outdated that like I don't know if it still works. Because I have
I know
the
my
Nook
Nook is
that kind of looks like a
outdated.
tablet, but then I also have like the paper white edition.
Yeah, this is my Nook. This is what was my graduation gift in high school. I got it my senior year of high school. I haven't turned it on in
Mine looks
Lord
like that.
knows how long.
Same. That's about
It
what
just
mine looks
lives
like.
on my desk. And then I have my Kindle somewhere in this mess. Who knows where? But yeah, I mostly read my like Kindle books on my Chromebook or on my phone lately. So
Well, I've been doing it like lately. Well, this year, since the year started, I've been doing kind of like I'll have the physical book, but if I can get the audio book, then I have both of them and I read slightly faster.
yes, Rosie, it doesn't help that my Nook also like kind of started going downhill whenever we moved down here. Like I think it doesn't hold the charge very well, and the software for it doesn't want to do much of really anything. And I don't think they sell that type of Nook anymore
And
or
that's the
provide
thing.
for.
And that's the thing too is even if you were to try to like turn it in for a new one, I don't know if they would be able to.
Yeah. Oh, it went downhill first, and then I neglected it.
Because it went downhill.
Yup. But yeah, I had meant to do like actual more like annotating in this copy, and the only annotating or highlighting I did in this copy was what you saw me do whenever I flipped to that one random page.
Yeah.
Rosie's being mean.
She's
How
picking
dare?
on both of us.
Yeah.
You don't use your Kindles. I don't even have a Kindle. Not
She
even
neglects us for months, and then she comes in here to harass us. Shame on her.
I never.
But is the poll for the next book still going?
Yes, we have 4 days.
Okay.
And it changed winning books because Thunderhead was in the lead and now it's the Cloisters.
Nice. Yeah, so everybody go and vote for the next book. What month? April's book is Legends and Lattes, and is the live going to be on your channel?
I think so. Either mine or Katie's. It might be on mine.
I think it might be yours. And then, well, whenever we have that live, I'm sure we will know what won by now. But keep an eye on Twitter, vote in the poll to figure out which book will win. Lucinda's already reading the Fox Love King. Yeah.
The Foxglove.
Yeah.
I have that one. I wanted to read it, but we'll have to see who wins because I own 3 out of 4, and of course, right now the one that's winning I don't own. But I have access to my library. The King Who Loves
Fog. Yeah.
Sketches.
Yep. Well, I'm going to call it the live here. Thank you guys for joining in the chat and providing some commentary. Thank you, Rosie. But thank you, Lucinda, for joining in the chat. And we'll see you guys next month for the next book chat. Until then, you guys, bye.
Happy reading. No.